Greetings, friends. Prepare for another thrilling journey as we delve into Reddit's most bizarre tales. We're plunging deep into the quirkiest corners of the web. Grab your popcorn and join us on this adventure. Remember to hit subscribe and like. Let's begin. I'll dive right into it. My wife and I have been together for almost 10 years now. We have a 7-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old son. Our relationship started through a dating app called Plenty of Fish. I pursued her, even though she wasn't initially interested because of the distance between us, about an hour and a half. I was persistent, and eventually, she agreed to start talking. As I got to know her, I learned she was still with someone, but she portrayed him as a bad person she wanted to leave. Despite my better judgment, I continued talking to her. Eventually, she ended things with him, and we became a long-distance couple. At the time, I was just starting my apprenticeship at a tattoo shop, and things were going well for me. I've always been a romantic, and I quickly fell for her, telling her I loved her over the phone one night. Once I finished my apprenticeship and got established, she moved to my town, and we lived together at my parents' house while saving up for our own place. During that time, everything was great, and we ended up expecting our daughter. At this point, she was working regular jobs. She had left a good job and started working in a grocery store. She's always been, for lack of a better word, concerned about how others perceive her and was convinced that people at her job were unfriendly. One day, she just quit. I didn't get upset. I just said we figure it out, and I worked harder to make ends meet. She didn't get another job until after our daughter was born, and by then we had finally moved into our own place. Things seemed great at that time. We were happy. I continued working as a tattoo artist for a few years, and she found a job at a doctor's office. We saved up and moved into our first home. We had our little arguments here and there, but nothing that made me worry. I never felt any mistrust between us. Now, I've been married once before when I was about 19, but that marriage only lasted 3 months. We had been together for about 4 years, but she cheated on me, and I wanted nothing more to do with her. But getting back to this story, I've always been a big guy minus 6 feet 1, and always over 300 pounds. My wife is also a larger woman, but my attraction to someone has never been based on looks alone. However, things started to go downhill when I gained more weight, and so did she. I've always struggled with losing weight and sticking to lifestyle changes, but she brought up her loss of attraction to me and said she wanted me to lose weight. I started going to the gym, eating better, and lost some weight, but I eventually fell back into old habits and gained the weight back. At this point, we got pregnant again with our son. Things were rocky in our marriage during this time. She had some complications with the pregnancy, and when our son was born, he had to stay in the NICU for a while. This was during the height of COVID. Our son came home, and things seemed well between us, but a year later, her father was tragically killed in a car accident. I loved that man deeply. We'd always got along well and often went on fishing trips together. I tried everything I could to be there for her, but she wanted nothing to do with me, so I backed off. Around this time, she also became unhappy with the amount of money I was making as a tattoo artist, so I made a complete career change to ID help desk work, even though it doesn't make me happy. During her grieving, things just didn't feel right. You know that gut feeling when someone is growing distant and hiding something from you. She was constantly on her phone and started avoiding me. We argued frequently because of it, and one day, I'd had enough. I needed to know what was happening, so I checked her phone. Sure enough, I found messages between her and another guy. They were video chatting, and she was sharing intimate moments with him while I remained oblivious. I lost it when I saw this and burst into the bathroom where she was taking a shower and confronted her, yelling at the top of my lungs. She was frightened and immediately apologized. I'm convinced she'd only apologized because she got caught and was scared of how I reacted, as I never act this way. Since then, she's told me she's blocked this guy and no longer talks to him, but I can't shake the feeling that it's not true. Even now, if I mention it, she gets immediately angry. She accuses me of being controlling if I ask her to share her location or inquire about what she did over the weekend. She often leaves on one day of the weekend and doesn't return until late at night or the next day, leaving me with the kids. I'm exhausted by all of this, but at the end of the day, I'm terrified that if I were to divorce her, she might somehow take the kids away from me, and I can't bear that thought. I'm convinced she only apologized because she got caught and was scared of how I reacted, as I never act this way. Since then, she's told me she's blocked this guy and no longer talks to him, but I can't shake the feeling that it's not true. Even now, if I mention it, she gets extremely angry. She accuses me of being controlling if I ask her to share her location or inquire about what she did over the weekend. She often leaves on one day of the weekend and doesn't return until late at night or the next day, leaving me with the kids. I'm exhausted by all of this, but at the end of the day, I'm terrified that if I were to divorce her, she might somehow take the kids away from me, and I can't bear that thought. I know I'm not blameless in this situation, and I've tried hard to change myself, but I keep losing momentum because I feel like, even if I lose the weight, she'll just find something else to criticize. It hurts that when I asked her why she cheated, she said she didn't know. She mentioned once that it might be because she trauma bonded with this guy or something like that. I'm sure there are things I'm forgetting, but it's a lot to type and remember given how long we've been together. Essentially, my questions are, is she a narcissist? And 2, I know I need to get a divorce, but I don't know how to go about it. To be honest, I'm absolutely terrified to do it. Just sitting here typing this and thinking about everything that's happened between us, I'm physically shaking, worried that she'll somehow find this thread and know it's about her, and I'm anxious about how she might react.